The Deadly Dance, Iran, Israel, and America's 77-year saga of conflict. Buckle up, Vanished Files fans, for a chilling ride through decades of betrayal, shadow wars, and high-stakes power plays. From secret alliances to missile strikes, the Iran-Israel-America triangle is a true crime saga on a global stage. Here's the full story, every twist, every strike up to June 25, 2025. Ready to unravel the mystery. 1948. A new nation, a quiet ally. In 1948, Israel emerged as a state, born from the ashes of history. The Muslim world roared in protest, but Iran, under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, took a different path. Quietly, it recognized Israel de facto, forging limited diplomatic ties. Oil flowed, and whispers of cooperation began. America, the global superpower, watched approvingly, seeing both nations as Cold War allies against Soviet shadows. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Could this uneasy friendship last? 1950s-1979. The golden era of Iran-Israel ties. For 3 decades, Iran and Israel were unlikely partners. The Shah's Iran, flush with oil wealth, traded with Israel. Military deals, intelligence swaps, and secret handshakes defined their bond. The CIA, Israel's Mossad, and Iran's SAVAK formed a trio of spies, sharing secrets to counter Soviet influence. America, the puppet master, armed the Shah and backed Israel, creating a Middle East bulwark. But the streets of Tehran whispered rebellion. Was this alliance too good to be true? 1979. The revolution that changed everything. In 1979, the Islamic Revolution shook Iran. Ayatollah Khomeini ousted the Shah, declaring Iran an Islamic republic. America became the Great Satan, Israel the usurper. Diplomatic ties with Israel were severed overnight. In Tehran, Iranian students stormed the U.S. embassy, holding 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. The world watched in shock as Iran's new regime vowed to fight both nations. The stage was set for decades of enmity. 1980s. A tangled web of war and deception. The 1980s brought chaos. The Iran-Iraq War 1980-1988 saw America arming Saddam Hussein's Iraq. Yet Israel secretly supplied Iran with military parts during the Iran-Contra scandal, a hypocrisy that stunned the world. Iran, meanwhile, birthed Hezbollah in Lebanon, a proxy force that became Israel's nightmare. Clashes in Lebanon, including the 1983 Beirut barracks bombing, tied America deeper into the fray. The lines blurred. Ally or enemy, 1990s. Proxy wars and nuclear shadows. By the 1990s, Iran's influence grew darker. It backed Hezbollah and Hamas, anti-Israel groups launching attacks from Lebanon and Palestine. Israel called Iran an existential threat, pointing to its nuclear ambitions. America slapped sanctions on Iran, while Israel warned of preemptive strikes. The world held its breath as Iran's centrifuges spun, enriching uranium. Was a nuclear Iran inevitable, or would someone strike first? 2000s, cyber strikes and rising tensions. The new millennium escalated the shadow war. Iran's nuclear program became a global obsession. Israel and America, united in fear, took bold steps. In 2010, the Stuxnet virus, widely attributed to both nations, crippled Iran's nuclear facilities, a cyber dagger in the heart of Tehran's ambitions. Iran retaliated by arming proxies and accelerating enrichment. The Middle East became a chessboard, with missiles, drones, and spies as pawns. Who would make the next move? 2015. The nuclear deal that divided. In 2015, President Obama's administration brokered the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA). Iran agreed to limit uranium enrichment. In return, America, Europe, and the UN lifted sanctions. It was hailed as a diplomatic triumph, but not in Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it a historic mistake, warning Iran would cheat. Tensions flared as Israel lobbied America to rethink its trust. Was the deal a path to peace or a countdown to chaos? 2018. Trump tears up the deal. In 2018, President Donald Trump shredded the JCPOA, launching a maximum pressure campaign. Sanctions crushed Iran's economy, pushing it to ramp up enrichment in defiance. Israel cheered, conducting covert strikes on Iranian targets in Syria. Iran's proxies Hezbollah, Hamas fired back with rockets. The shadow war grew hotter, with cyber attacks and assassinations. The world braced for escalation. Could diplomacy survive this storm? 2020. The assassination that shook the region. On January 3, 2020, a U.S. drone strike in Iraq killed Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani, mastermind of Iran's regional influence. Iran vowed revenge, launching missiles at U.S. bases in Iraq. Israel went on high alert, expecting retaliation. The region teetered on the edge of all-out war. Iran's proxies intensified attacks. While Israel targeted Iranian scientists and bases, the stakes had never been higher. 2021 to 2024, the shadow war explodes. The early 2020s saw relentless covert battles. Israel struck Iranian targets in Syria, destroying weapons caches. Iran used drones and missiles through proxies, hitting Israeli interests. Assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists blamed on Israel fueled Tehran's rage. America's talks with Iran stalled, with no new deal in sight. The shadow war was no longer hidden. It was a blazing inferno, waiting for a spark. June 2025, the war that shook the world. On June 13, 2025, the spark ignited. Iran launched drones and missiles at Israel, retaliation for years of strikes. Israel hit back with airstrikes and cyber attacks, targeting Iran's nuclear and missile sites. The U.S., under President Trump, initially urged restraint but soon joined the fray. On June 22, U.S. strikes Operation Midnight Hammer hit Iran's nuclear facilities, claiming to destroy its bomb-making ability. Iran denied the damage, firing missiles at Israel and a U.S. base in Qatar. On June 23, Trump brokered a fragile ceasefire, phased in over 24 hours. Israel claimed victory, saying it crippled Iran's nuclear threat. Iran insisted it stood strong, calling the ceasefire a strategic pause. But violations followed for died in Israel from Iranian missiles, and Israel struck Tehran. As of June 25, 2025, the truce holds, but barely. Iran reports 610 deaths, Israel, 7. The world watches, breathless. Today, June 25, 2025, a fragile peace. The ceasefire is a tightrope. Iran arrested 700 alleged Israeli spies, signaling defiance. Israel vows to crush Iran's proxies like Hamas. America, led by Trump, plays peacemaker, but a leaked U.S. report suggests Iran's nuclear program is only delayed, not destroyed. The IAEA can't locate Iran's enriched uranium, raising alarms. Qatar's mediation and global calls for peace keep hope alive, but the region is a powder keg. Will this truce hold, or is war just one strike away? The big picture, Roots. Iran's anti-Israel, anti-America ideology took hold in 1979, shattering earlier alliances. America's role, from ally to enforcer, now wary mediator. Israel's fear, Iran's nuclear dreams and proxy armies threaten its survival. Flashpoints, the 1979 revolution, 2006 Lebanon war, JCPOA, Soleimani's killing, and the 2025 conflict define this saga. What's next? Will Iran rebuild its arsenal? Will Israel strike again? Drop A in the comments and tell us, who's the real mastermind in this deadly game? Stay tuned to Vanished Files for more.